We're live.
We're live.
What are you gonna do with that? For me?
Gotta get you straight somehow.
Good old Herm Springer prong collar there, folks. Training collar. We're gonna call them training collars. You know, you gotta have the right words and be, politically correct and everything. Whoa, hold on. Dog discovered treat bag.
Yeah, I don't want to get canceled.
Yeah. Like what do you like the e-collar people? It's not shocking the dog. It's a stimulus. You got to give them a stimulus.
Yeah, you're stimulating, all right.
Stimulating, all
You
right.
ever get taste? That's a stimulus too.
Yeah. Yep. What are you gonna do down here? So we got, if you notice, we're having trouble. We got one of our 6-month-old Bart babies in here, Miss Judy. For those of you that wonder why on earth I'd name a dog Judy, because I think in this one's one I'm gonna have to keep around. The greatest dog that's ever lived was named Judy. I will hold that dog up to anybody else. That was the prisoner of war. The dog was in the pointer that was in the Japanese prison camp. Saved the lives of hundreds of POWs. There's a book called look up Judy of Sussex is her full name. But you can go to YouTube and see the story, and the stories on YouTube do not do justice. One plug for a book is No Better Friend. If you want to read the most amazing dog story ever was, I mean, this dog made Rin Tin Tin look like he graduated from the 3rd grade. It was ridiculous,
Yep.
Anyway, what you been doing, Mr. Sinclair?
Oh, just keeping the stern steady.
Stern steady.
Sails in the wind,
Sails in the wind. Yep. Okay, so we're
enjoying spring.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have a good weather.
It should be over in 2 days.
It's gonna be summertime.
Yeah, I'm ready for it. Old buddy there is messing with our camera crew.
Yep.
That's all right.
We need to go move. You want to kick her out or?
Yeah.
Okay.
She's moving my camera.
Y'all pardon me. We're gonna move her. Come here, Judy. Get a picture of Judy. Come here, Miss Judy.
Oh, she just did it again, guys.
Can you get a picture of Miss Judy? Come here, Miss Judy. Turn around. Look at everybody. Sit. Hey, sit. See how well trained she is? That a girl. This is the female Black Bart when she grows up. This is a 6-month-old, just turned 6 months old. Bart baby, Western Shepherd, who's liable to be around here for a while. So, just so you can see, I was going to let her sit and be in the video, but Carol Ann brought potato chips, and unfortunately, she likes potato chips, so we can't do much. Come on, baby girl. Scott, it's on. Go, girl.
Hello, Zing Sinclair in Northern Maine. Hello.
Come on.
You're having a good evening. Enjoying the snow up there.
Whoa.
You can have it all. I don't want none of that anymore.
What you got?
I'm telling Daddy, call him Zing. I said, you enjoy that snow you got up there right now. You can have it all. I don't want none of it no more. It's not fun training dogs in the snow.
No. So, number one we got on the agenda, we're going to cut a little bit about, because I'm getting questions about our future pro sports competition certification. We're going to touch a little bit on that, and then we're going to tell some guard dog stories, because that just seems to be something that trips everybody's trigger, and I'm glad you enjoy them. We're looking at the end of May for our pro sports. This is going to be a certification trial, which means we have to have a qualified judge. And to be a qualified judge, you either need 10 years of street experience in the guard dog business or a police or military canine handler. Or you can go through our judging school that we do for pro sports. Either way. So we're gonna try to get Daryl Thornton up here for those of you which is probably the majority of you, unless you live in Mississippi. Don't know Daryl. Daryl's about a 20, 30-year veteran canine handler on the streets. I guess he's done a little bit of everything. What do you think, Scott?
Yeah.
You watched him. Scott met him up here when he came up to get some dogs from us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, he did.
But he knows what a dog needs to do on the street, so with that type of judging, we can do actual certification. We're looking at what? When do we want to do it, you reckon?
End of the month. We'll see how it goes here. In beginning of June, end of May.
End of May? Yeah. We'll look at, well, yeah, I'll need to call him and warn him, so,
Yeah, so we got about a month or so.
Yeah.
2 months.
2 months. Yeah, we'll look, yeah, probably, yeah. Well, we'll check the almanac, see what our weather's gonna be like.
It should be okay by then, though.
Yeah.
Summer's starting to kick in, so
Yeah.
we won't get no rain.
Middle of June ought to be a good time, and give us a little more time to get
Yeah.
ready.
We'll finalize the dates, but that's pretty much the target area right there, and that quadrant of the year right there.
Yeah. And what we'll do prior to that is we'll start in about, well, as soon as we get our dates set, we'll start a Tuesday night obedience class. And it's no charge. Anyone who wants to bring their dog out and work them, it's going to be street style. It's not, you don't have to do focus healing or any of the show ring stuff. So we'll have that, no charge to anyone that can come out. And of course, we've got hopefully we'll be back to our Saturday morning protection training,
Yeah.
maintenance training. So if you want to come out and just get a feel for bite work that's done for the street versus if you're in one of the sports. And if if you've got a good Schutzhund trained dog or a ring sport dog, you can,
Come on.
yeah,
You'll be fine.
you can do it really no problem.
Yeah.
So that'll be the end of May, middle of June. We'll check the weather and see what it looks like. And again, there will be certificates given. They will have a signature. We will have them notarized, so it'll be something legally showable or usable, whatever you want to call it. So, what do you think? Guard dog stories?
Yeah, some guard dog stories. Sounds like a winner. You got anything? Give us something good.
Something good. Something good. And I had some people call in, not calling. We had some comments. One guy said, "Love the guard dog stories. Tell us more of the bloody ones." So
You might need to get some Rottweilers involved if that's the case.
we probably will. We probably will. You get the guys that. Now we talked about the anesthesia when old Mike got his leg bit, didn't we?
Yeah, we need that.
For those of you that, we're talking about street bites. We're not talking about any. We don't want calm bites. We want limb ripping bites. So they're. But what I don't think people understand about well-trained dogs is their ability to understand situations. So one of my favorite all-time stories involves a dog named Scary Sherry. Her name was Sherry till we got her in the guard dog company. This was a dog that had gone to the show ring. A friend of mine in the Texas Panhandle owned her and was going to show her. Trained the dog, she was a dream. She was a very large female. If you first look at her, you think she's a male. She's big.
I thought you were talking about the handler.
The handler. Now, that's the girl I was dating at the time.
Damn.
Yeah.
2-for-1 package, huh?
Yeah, two for. So, anyway, Sherry, it was showing in an AKC show, and she's just a big old tough girl. And the judge went to do the AKC thing where only in America, only in the AKC does the judge go to your dog, pull its lips apart, and count its teeth. In Europe or Germany and Denmark and England, they say, the handler does the grin. So the judge, because you need to check their dentation, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So he bends over. She done everything. She's standing perfect. This dog she was probably winning it until the judge bent over her and grabbed her mouth. And she let him know real quick. And so there's absolutely no violence allowed in the AKC. And the AKC is kind of like, I think that's where Walt Disney got his picture of dogs. If you ever look at Pluto, Goofy, you notice Walt Disney dogs don't have canine fangs. They just got,
A nice grill.
yeah,
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
yeah, just a little molar smile like a cow, you know. Because Disney dogs don't bite and AKC dogs ain't supposed to bite. So the owner, I was handling the dog, and I was called out, and I called the owner over, and we were promptly asked to exit the ring. You know, and I foolishly tried to argue and say, you know, if you'll just let me, well, they're not going to change. They've got their way of doing things. So that zeroed Sherry's show dog career, and because of that and maybe some other reasons, the owner decided, you know, I can't handle her. I don't, you know, I was going to breed her, I can't. So she gives her to me and my guard dog company. And she was my dog, there was no doubt. We were pals, and she was an excellent dog. I used her as a patrol dog. I put her on a few sites where it was really tough. It was a large area because she was a big dog to cover ground. And then a good friend of mine who was in the medical field, I mean, who had, well, I'll just come out and say it, she ran a women's clinic, and she was getting all the death threats and all that other stuff. This was in the 90s when they were shooting doctors and everything else. And this lady was concerned, you know. So she asked me if I had a dog that would work as a protection dog. Well, Sherry loved women, so I thought, that's a fit. Sure enough, so Patty takes Sherry. They just hit it off. And Sherry had she put a doggy door in so she'd go in and out of her garage. She wanted her to have, and another one at the back. So she had free reign of every inch of the house. And she'd had her for probably, but this is a guard dog. This dog's been on the street. She knows how to handle stuff, right? So several months go by. It's a great match. I was doing security for this particular clinic. We put a guard dog in there at night because they were doing things like putting super glue in the locks so you couldn't open the doors the next morning, you know. So we had the guard dogs in there. Patty and I, you know, I'm working for more or less for her. And she had a good friend who was in Albuquerque. We were in El Paso. This friend's in Albuquerque, and she's a medical supply salesman. Once a month, she comes to El Paso, and she spends a week there seeing her customers, right? Well, her and Patty were such good friends that they worked out a deal. She'd come in on Sunday afternoon. Patty and I forget the lady's name, they would go out somewhere, and the lady would buy supper, and a couple more times during the week, and in return, she just stayed with Patty instead of getting a motel, right? A little more like home and cheap, you know, didn't cost. So there's the setup. That's what we had. And she would come in on Sunday. She'd spend a week there, leave on Friday afternoon. Her and Sherry were the best of friends. Just, you know, she'd go out in the back, throw balls for her and everything else. Well, that arrangement went on for a couple of months. And a friend calls one Saturday and says, I've been held over, a bunch of stuff going on, I got family, whatever, I don't know what it was, but for some reason, she couldn't come in on a Sunday when Patty was at the house. She had her own key to go in and out, so Patty said, well, just, you know, she said, I'm coming up Monday, I'll get in there probably about mid-morning. And Patty said, well, just, you know, fine, no problem, just come on in, you know, you got your own key, come in the house. What could be simpler? Right?
Where's Sherry?
Yeah, with Sherry.
Where is Sherry?
Sherry's got free roam anywhere in the house she wants to be.
Okay. Carry on.
Yeah. So it's like I said, mid-morning, my phone rings, and it's the receptionist at the women's clinic. Butch, do you know where Patty is? I said, no. Why would I know where Patty is? And she says, well, do you have a key to Patty's house? I said, no. She said, well, can you go to Patty's house? I said, now I'm concerned because, like I said, this woman's getting death threats. And I said, what's wrong at Patty's house? And she says, well, so-and-so, whatever the lady's name was, so-and-so came into town and she went in the house and now Sherry's got her cornered. And every time she moves, Sherry's coming, she's afraid Sherry's going to attack her. And she talked to her, it's not doing any good. And we can't find Patty. She went to a meeting, but she's not answering her cell phone. So I thought, oh, holy moly. I jump in the truck and I'm driving, it's plumb on the other side of El Paso. I pull up to the curb at Patty's house and I see Patty's car in the driveway along with the lady's car because the garage door's closed. And I run up to the door and ring the doorbell. And Patty throws open the door and her friend throws open the door and Sherry's between the two of them and they're all petting her and they're laughing and everything's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I say, what? Oh, I forgot one little thing. When, I forget the receptionist's name, but when she's telling me that Sherry won't let the lady move, she said, Butch, she drove 2 or 3 hours, whatever it is, all the way from Albuquerque, drinking coffee. And she said, we really need to come get Sherry, because if we don't, she bites her. She's going to pee all over the rug when she gets bit. So I'm going, oh my God. So anyway, so here we are, and everybody's just making a bit and laughing, and Patty's going, oh, I'm sorry. And she's going, no, she did a great job, and oh, she's really scary. She'd gone in the house, front door. Sherry, at that time, she had a bed and everything out in the garage. She was out in the garage, but she's got a door, doggy door, to go in and out. She did what a responsible, properly trained protection dog should do. She heard the noise in her house. She came in the doggy door and she started looking around. When she found the intruder, which in her mind was an intruder, she was opening the door to the bedroom, which had its own bathroom adjoining. And she was not worried about getting into the bedroom. She was headed to the bathroom. Her and her purse going to the bathroom. And then Sherry appeared. She turned to her and she smiled and said, oh, hi, Sherry. Sherry greeted her with a growl and every tooth in her mouth shining. She got, oh, shucks. She said she just opened the door to the bedroom, but Sherry, every time she moved, Sherry had stepped up. Remember, she's properly trained. If you don't make a quick move, my patrol dogs, they're not going to get you. You got to make that quick move. So she's standing there talking to her, trying to talk her into letting her go to the bathroom. And Sherry's just sitting there with that all Rottweiler grin. And she would sit and wait. And directly, Sherry laid down and just watched. And she took a step. And Sherry didn't move, and she thought, I'm going to run for it. And she jumped through the door and tried to slam it. But Sherry had already started going towards her, and she had her head in the door, so the door slammed on Sherry's neck. She sees Sherry. Now she doesn't know what to do. She jumps on the bed. At least she's off the ground, she felt like. Sherry comes to the foot of the bed and just stands up on it and just lets her know if she moves a muscle, she's done. About that time, the door to the garage flies open and Patty came running in. Now, she'd been on the bed for 15 or so minutes. She said about an hour, but it really wasn't that long.
Felt that way. The dog was looking at you.
Yeah, minutes or hours. Patty comes in, calls Sherry off. Friend jumps off the bed, introduces. Sherry loves her. Everything's great. Patty looks over at her friend and says, well, at least you got to go to the bathroom, because she was in the bedroom, right? And friend goes, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And she runs over to the bed and she pulls up what turned out to, because I had just walked in the door as well, so I get to see this part. She pulls up what she said was her makeup bag, zipped or sealed shut somehow, full of pee. She said she was growling at me, and I just couldn't hold it anymore. So she peed in the makeup bag, sealed it, and it was waiting there. She didn't use that makeup bag anymore. So
Messed up that foundation.
Say hi to your dad,
say what?
Mr. Sinclair.
Hello, Mr. Sinclair.
Oh,
And Mom.
Mother. Hello. Everything's good up there in the frozen north. Up towards Canada. 20 minutes from Canada.
20 minutes. Scott's family's on the phone, on the line there.
Yes.
Where they at?
Sinclair, Maine.
Is it Sinclair, Maine?
Yes, it is. I'll tell you a story.
Really?
I'll tell you a story sometime. How it get that name.
Yeah, that'd be cool. You got a town named after him.
Yep.
Yep. Goes back, way back. 30s, 20s, 30s.
Really?
Yep. We'll tell a story one day.
Okay. Okay.
I don't have another
Yeah.
30 minutes.
Hey, Miss Sinclair, Miss Sinclair, glad you folks could join us for a night.
You
anyway-
join us every night. They've been
Oh,
watching.
do they?
Yeah, they've been joining watch for a while.
Oh, cool.
Told them to say hi once in a while, and finally decided to go ahead and said it.
Yeah. So,
You see-
anybody else out there we're related to, just don't call me. I know what you think of me already. Anyway, so Sherry just had done her job, and that was it. You know, if Patty let you in the house, it made no difference how many times you've been there.
She was lucky.
Oh, she was.
She was very lucky.
Yeah. She said, I told her, I said, well, you did the right thing by not moving. I said, that's pretty sharp on your part. She said, oh, that wasn't smart. I was just too scared.
It's all your dogs were like that though. Mm-hmm. That gentleman had that car dealership and he got caught behind the fence.
Yep.
Same
Yep,
thing.
same
He
thing.
got out, but it took him 2 hours to get out.
Okay, we got the next Samson story. You know, Samson stories are the best, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. So, I tell you, well, it's getting late, so I'll tell you what. I'm going to do a quick Samson story. I think this is one maybe Scott's heard, but Samson's was my number one Rottweiler number one guard dog. Absolutely, like I said, in our 8 or 9 year relationship, I can honestly say that nobody, and I'll tell you the story to illustrate this point, nobody except me ever touched Samson fur without blood being shed. Nobody.
Yeah.
When I went out of town,
I've seen photos of that big bad hanging on a fence by his teeth about that far off the ground, 6 feet off the ground.
yeah,
That's another story too.
yeah. Oh, we can tell Samson stories for days. But like I said, when I went out of town, he had his own 40 by 40 yard. And when I went out of town, because we had contracts in other places, I put a feeder in there. And, he lived there with Denise, and except when he was on a job. And the first time I went away, she called me and she said, well, he won't let me go in there to fill up his free feeder. So I said, okay, what are you going to do? She said, oh, we fixed it. Me and Steph, that's stepdaughter, Denise's daughter, they just took a 40-pound bag of dog food, threw it over the fence.
Problem solved.
That's it, boy. That's all you're getting, because we ain't going in there with you. So when I got Samson, at the time, he was like the third, fourth dog I got in my company. And I brought him back, and at that time, I was renting a little space from a guy in Chaparral, New Mexico. And so it was just desert, flat land, right? It looks like the top of this table. And I had my kennel set up. And of course, I'm picking up the dogs, delivering them. I'm my only employee at the time. And the guy that I was renting this little space from was one of these kind of people. I know Scott's ran across him, maybe you have. He's one of these people that every dog he saw, he had to pet them. And he was convinced that every dog he saw loved him. Yep.
Yeah, dog whisperers.
Yeah. And so, I had 3 dogs there, and he buddied up to all 3 of them, and he thought it was great. And he'd probably let me have the space for free, just so he could go out and pet the dogs, right? Well, I bring Samson, put him in the kennel, and he learned real quick. Samson had been wrongly treated by his original owner. At the time, he was only like 10 months old. But it's a long story how he got that way, but trust me when I say not only did he not trust, especially men, he didn't like other men, period. So this guy's going, oh, can I pet him? And I'm saying, yeah, because he'd already shown me what he was like. He got along with me. The guy I bought him from, who was not the original owner, he put the original owner in the hospital. Not the ER for stitches, the hospital. And John Oliver out of Albuquerque, New Mexico, had gone and picked up this dog and had him. And I picked him up, put him in a crate. John couldn't believe his eyes that he, for some reason, he let me load him up. Like we were known each other forever. So we deliver him down to El Paso. And I show up the next day to take him out. And the guy comes up to me and goes, that dog's mean. I said, oh, really? And he said, yeah. He said, I've been trying to pet him and I've been trying to talk to him. And everything I do, he just tries to get me. He won't let me touch the gate. I said, I'm telling you, this is not the kind of dog you want to screw with. This dog does not like people, and that's different from being mean. That's a dog that's mean with a purpose.
Yeah.
So, unbeknownst to me, a couple of weeks go by, and maybe a month, I don't know. I pull up one afternoon because 4 or 5 o'clock, come pick up, load up the dogs, take them out to the site. I pull up there, and out comes my little landlord. He goes, hey, you ain't gonna believe this. Samson and I are buddies. And I said, really? He said, yeah. I said, what? How do you mean? He said, I'll show you. I'll show you. He said, watch this. He said, I'll be right back. And he runs up to his house, right? He comes back with his can of Vienna sausages. And he pulls the lid off the Vienna sausages, takes one out, sets the can up on the tailgate of my truck. He walks up to Samson's gate, and he's holding his little Vienna sausage out in front. He said, Samson, here, buddy, you want a treat? You want a treat? And he just teased it, right? And Samson would look at him, and you could see him. He just get excited. He kind of bounce up and down, but I noticed his little nub of a tail was sticking straight up. But he looked pretty happy. He kind of had that canine grin, and he'd jump up and down, and this guy would stick it right there, and he'd eat it down. He said, see, I told you, we're buddies. And I said, well, you really think so? And he said, yeah, well, I know we are. I said, well, okay. I said, you can feed him some more in a minute here, but let me get him out and start to get ready to load him up. I got to be going. The guy said, oh, okay. So I opened the gate, put my leash on him. And all of a sudden, he pops out in front of me and he goes, can I give him one? I said, yeah, I don't really think you should. Because I'm still looking, and that little Rottweiler nub wasn't doing nothing. It was just sticking straight up. And he says, oh no, he likes me. We're friends. I've been doing this ever since you brought him here. So I guess he'd go out there every day and feed him sausages when I wasn't around. So I said, well, what the hell? Go ahead. I said, it's on you. He said, no problem. He goes, and he bends over like this and he says, hey there, buddy. Hey, buddy, you want a treat? And Samson's looking at him. He's jumping up and down, getting all excited. And he sticks that little sausage right in front of his nose. And Samson goes, ka-chunk, ka-chunk. He swallowed the sausage in one bite and then grabbed that summit by his hand and just ripped all the hide off the back of his bony hand. And it's all I can do at this point to hold him because he is mad like hell yeah. And this old boy, I look at him and I said, I'm sorry. He said, oh my God! And he runs to the house. I loaded up Samson, went up there and said, got up to peroxide, and he snatched that Vienna sausage out. I don't think he even chewed it. He snatched the sausage and just grabbed And the way the man was standing, he just grabbed his front fingers like this and the knuckles, and there was not a bit of skin.
Yeah.
None. You know, all these little front teeth, they just went.
We got a visitor from Japan watching.
Got a what?
Someone watching from Japan.
We got someone from Japan. Is it Maki?
Let me see who it is. It says MT.
MT. Hey, Maki, how you doing, darling? Hope you and your little Mally are doing well, and so glad you joined us here. This is our Japanese pro sports representative, folks.
Congratulations on the
Maki-taki.
World Baseball Championship last night.
Oh, did they win
They
it?
beat the U.S. 3-2. Yep.
Oh, Maki, your team, you boys beat the U.S. in baseball last night, which they do rather consistently anymore.
They won three or four World Championships. Japan's won it.
Yeah, they're good. They're good. So
Yep.
hope you got to hear all of this. If you don't remember, you can play it back later. So I guess we're about hitting our time zone.
Yep.
So anyway, that's Mr. Sampson. That's one of the many stories, but Scott just reminded me of the best. Yes, ma'am. You got
Do
something?
our trivia question.
Oh, what was our trivia question going to be about? Do you remember?
No, you didn't tell me.
Two questions will be next week. How about that?
Okay.
Next week?
I forgot it in the truck. I don't remember it.
Oh, that's right.
I don't have time to go get it.
Okay.
So it's my fault, not Butch. I felt
My fault,
I understood the assignment, but I forgot the assignment in the
Oh,
truck.
that's right,
And
yeah.
I got a Doberman in there. I'm scared to go in there. I better give me some Vienna sausage, huh?
Get you some- yeah, there you go. And remember, folks, when you're trying to meet a new dog, bring them Viennas.
Not like this. Like this or like this.
Yeah,
Or actually, like that.
that'd be even better.
Yeah.
So, hope you enjoyed it. You know, it's I'm just now realizing it's the guard dog industry is rather a unique place to play, but
Yeah.
I'm glad I got to play there, and I hope you all are enjoying these stories. If you're not enjoying them, don't tell me. You know,
Yeah.
if they're good, you know, that's what we're supposed to. Like, subscribe, share,
Thumbs up.
tell your mother, thumbs up, yep.
Subscribe.
Subscribe, and
Like and subscribe.
we enjoyed it. I always like talking about Samson. Oh,
So, no.
don't forget, you want to learn how dogs think? There you go, right there.
Yep.
And until that time, what do you think, Scott?
I think next week we're going to talk about something pretty simple that applies to all dogs and all handlers and all owners. And from being here and being around training dogs, 50% of people that I listen to or when people come in have this one problem with dogs. And you won't believe how simple it is. And Butch and I will get into it next week. But remember, buy the book, subscribe and like. But remember, it's all about the dogs. We'll see you next week.
Thank you, folks.